I was inspired to make this video because last week I watched the new Netflix series Adolescence. Spoiler alert if you haven't already watched it, but it's basically about this kid who is about 13 years old that ends up killing this girl who's also 13 years old. And it's about really the dangers of what young kids can consume online these days. They talked about the red pill and Andrew Tate. And to be honest, I've been really hurt by it, not really by the TV show itself, even though it is very impactful and serious, but mostly, I'm not gonna lie, it's because of women's reactions and lack of empathy. And if you're a woman, I know you're already labeling me as some misogynistic man, and I'm here to tell you that is actually totally fair. But I want to say that I'm gonna make this video with love because I want to change and improve the whole world. But I'm also going to offer you challenging viewpoints for you that you may not have considered before. These viewpoints may be where you draw the line that you don't even want to entertain my viewpoints, but I just hope that you believe that I'm doing this from a place of love and that I truly want to make the world a better place. Why am I hurt by women's reactions? It's because they don't seem to care about why young boys actually consume red pill content in the first place. And to be fair, I'm more affected by it because I consume red pill content. I, at the end of the day, agree with some of it. And hold on, before you keep labeling me as misogynistic, I disagree with a lot of it. Heck, a lot of red pill bros would probably hate me because I disagree on them so much. I'm kind of in the middle, but I'm not just trying to be a boring guy who just says everyone has reasons. I do have certain convictions on something, but like feminists hate me, red pill bros hate me, and I don't know, the select few that hears me out, I think they agree that I'm trying to make this world a better place. So let's keep talking about that. I believe that women and men need to be on the same team, at least try to be. I believe we as individuals should prioritize other people's well-beings, no matter how much we lack understanding. And what does this mean? Yes, I am literally talking about prioritizing the killer in the movie's well-being, the most dangerous people's in society's well-being. The people who you hate the most well-beings. Think of anyone you hate. They're probably the most broken people, right? And I'm sure you've probably heard by now that the reason people do stuff out of hate is because they're insecure or they're broken themselves, right? But again, that obviously does not excuse what they did. What they did is obviously wrong. My only argument is that if someone would have been kind to him and took him on as a real good friend with good intentions, I guarantee you these killings, these femicides, I can't name more atrocities that could happen in real life because I made a video to YouTube with similar topics the other day and it got removed. Yeah, think of the worst atrocities. I guarantee you if you put one nice caring person who validates their evil thoughts in some way, I guarantee you it will drop these things from happening. It will reduce the number. Now, what do I mean? Am I telling you to put someone in who thinks just like them and agrees with everything they did? No, I'm just saying that whatever suffering has happened in this world has reasons, not excuses, but reasons. And these reasons, if you look at the core of it, they're valid. They're valid for why they feel this way. And the people who act wrong, they simply haven't learned how to deal with their emotions. And to be honest, I will be the type to blame society more than the person itself. Why? Because I believe the reasons people do stuff is not just an individual decision at that moment. It's really the accumulation of everything that's happened in their lives. So if someone is having dark thoughts and is kind of hating the world, and I don't know, he talks about it online and then everyone hates him for it and shames him, he's just gonna, most people, especially young people, but 99.9% of people will get defensive and even have even more conviction on their beliefs and that why the world is unfair to them. And this type of thought over a long enough period of time and with enough intensity is what causes these people to just stop caring about themselves and the world, and they just want to cause pain. I've had evil thoughts. Hold on. I've had bad, dark thoughts about harming myself, punching other people, right? I don't do them. And to be honest, I think I got lucky. I don't know. Somewhere along the way, I was with the right people and I consumed the right content. My parents raised me well enough. But the truth is, not everyone is as lucky as me. Not everyone is as lucky as you. I know a lot of you guys may be saying, well, I was bullied and I didn't have to commit an atrocity. I didn't have to kill people, right? Well, that's the thing. Bullying is the only factor. It's the accumulation of so many other things. And to be honest, you couldn't possibly understand. We all think different. We all justify our actions no matter what. You know, I read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I think on the first chapter it talks about don't criticize, condemn, and complain. The whole basis for having that principle in winning friends and influencing people is because everyone is defensive and everyone thinks they're right. And the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it talked about this notorious gang leader. I'm sorry if this isn't the person. I think his name is Al Capone or some gang mafia person from Chicago. And when he got arrested, he kept talking about, I didn't do anything wrong. I really thought I was doing right and everyone else was against me. I was doing good for society. No matter if you don't understand it, they have this true conviction that they're doing what's right and what they believe is right. So you have to, I'm just saying, to justify why they think it's right, because the accumulation of everything that's happened in their lives is the reason they think that. So they go, all you have to do is say, makes total sense the way you're feeling, makes total sense, but hey, this is what you want and this is what I want. We have this in common, so let's see better ways so we can not get harmed together. So you feel less suffering, I feel less suffering, we all feel less suffering. And another common viewpoint I've heard women say is that it's not our responsibility to fix young men. And I'm not going to say whether that's true or not. And yes, absolutely, men have held all the power all throughout history and women have been oppressed. First of all, I don't even operate with terms like oppressed, and it's not to say I'm better, I just haven't. And the fact that you do, I'm not saying it's bad. It actually makes total sense, because everything that you have consumed and all your reactions in life and all your experiences in life, and you've seen the unfairness of the world, right? That's why you believe you're oppressed. And I'm saying that thought doesn't serve you. If you believe you're oppressed, you're gonna seek out to prove your oppression. You're gonna seek out you're biased and you want to be right. Everyone does that. So we all seek out to be right no matter what. Here's why I want to challenge you. I guarantee you that if you stop labeling yourself as oppressed, which I'm not saying you're not, and it makes total sense, and I just want you to feel better. Just consider this. I'm just some stupid guy who doesn't know anything. I believe all humans don't know anything, but these are just common viewpoints. If you identify yourself as oppressed, you're more likely to seek out proof that you're oppressed, and you'll act out behaviors of an oppressed person. What do I mean by behaviors of an oppressed person? You're going to focus more on the unfairness of things more than what you can actually do about it. Now, if you don't believe in free will, that's a whole different topic. We're just assuming free will exists in this video, okay? And back to what I was saying about women not feeling responsible for helping young men. I think that's similar to when people say, I don't owe you anything. We should teach kids that no one owes them anything, but that's just because of human flaws. I believe we have a moral responsibility to be kind to each other and to help the world be a better place. We have a moral responsibility to be loving and caring to everyone, even the worst of people. And also, you're more likely to create actual change if you get the people who are doing the actual killings and doing the actual harmful actions. If you get them to cooperate, you're more likely to create the actual change. Isn't that just normal logic? I remember this one time where my brother, who is a coffee professional, he was doing coffee courses and we needed some more help. So I asked my friend if he could help us and that we'll pay him. And I'm not going to say much, but there was an issue with him that day. And he felt very justified in his actions. I'm not going to say whether he was right or wrong. I'm not going to say my opinion on it, and I don't want you to have an opinion on it. He was very justified in his actions, even though I didn't agree with the way he thought, because I know he was in a kind of emotional state. All I did was validate his emotions because they made total sense. At the end of the day, they made total sense, and based on everything, and based on who he is, and based on what he has consumed and learned from his own experiences, he was absolutely totally right. But then, because I validated him, he was more open to hearing me out. And ultimately, we found common ground. And then he went to work the next day and it was all great. I'm saying that a really good way to cause change and to influence people for the better is validating their own experiences, because I believe every experience is valid because there's reasons. Not that their actions are necessarily right, but there's reasons why they feel the way that they do. And if we validate them, they're more likely to hear opposing viewpoints. And that's something I gotta work on. I gotta put other people's interests first. No matter how right you think you are, people in general are unfair. So no matter how right you think you are, they're just not gonna see it the way you do. So with that being said, you have to accept reality for how it is and manipulate it to the way that you want it. Manipulate it to the best way to create change. And in my opinion, the best way to create change is to acknowledge all of our experiences and sufferings as valid, find common ground, and move together as a team. At the end of the day, you're not gonna fix the red pill content problem just by deleting it. You have to get boys better role models. And I don't know, maybe you do know some role models for men that you like, but I'm willing to bet that they don't hit boys in their pain points and boys don't resonate with them that much. And how do you make boys resonate? You validate their sufferings no matter how little you understand it. And by the way, if you're a girl and you watched all the way through, thank you. That means you probably gave me a shot and you have some things to say. Maybe you hate me. But I gotta say, men gotta do that too. A lot of men are definitely unfair and it's hard. And they have to validate your own experiences too and work for the better to make all of our lives better, right? Well, that's the end of the video. I have a lot of editing to do. God bless you.